they're not my favorite people, but but the people I write about really are my favorite people. It's very rare. I mean, you don't get up in the morning and love somebody, then write my sort of.
What if the fairy tale you cheered was never real? Picture glitter, castle walls, and two smiling faces telling the world they escaped a cruel crown. Now picture those same faces hiding secret tapes, hidden deals, and a stack of questions taller than the palace gates. Buckle up. Today we follow the clues that famous writer Tom Bower says rip the Sussex story wide open. Every turn sheds another layer of sparkle until only cold facts remain. First stop, the Queen's funeral walkabout. William, Kate, Harry, and Meghan walked side by side, hands clasped, heads bowed. Cameras flashed, hearts melted, and millions whispered, maybe the family will heal.
In his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets.
William didn't know that Harry and Meghan had already recorded their poison for Netflix. It was already edited.
And guess what Meghan was all set to do? You know what she's like when the British royals do anything, particularly Kate or William, but King Charles as well.
But behind the black suits, Meghan and Harry had already finished recording a 6-show blast for Netflix. Clips that fired at Charles, jabbed at William, and painted the palace as the bad guy. They smiled for mourners while their hour-long rants sat in an editing bay, ready to stream worldwide. That, friends, is a hug with fingers crossed. Jump back a year to Prince Philip's farewell. Harry flew home to say goodbye to his grandpa. He shook hands, wiped tears, and stood straight for photos. But his Armchair Expert podcast, already taped, was days from dropping. In that chat, he called royal life pain passed down. He blamed Charles for hurtful habits and painted himself as a broken toy. The episode was queued up, yet Harry wore a calm mask beside grieving relatives. One moment, comfort. The next, boom, the podcast hit like a surprise firework. 2 funerals, 2 secret projects, same hidden punch. Meghan's turn. Let's peek at Archie's birth story. Meghan once said she planned a peaceful hospital delivery, followed by a glowing baby photo in Windsor's Grand Hall. Only, records hint she never aimed for that hospital at all. The birth paper hit the public late. Timelines clashed, questions piled up, and when reporters asked, lawyers barked. Why wrap a baby's first minutes in blur and hush? Because, says Bower, controlling the tale mattered more than sharing the truth. Then came the Oprah sit-down that rocked living rooms. Meghan claimed a secret backyard wedding days before the grand chapel vows. The Archbishop later said, no, that never happened. She hinted Archie missed out on a title because of skin shade whispers. Royal rules say he simply wasn't old enough yet. Strike after strike.
See them filming and including in the Netflix series a private text message. Okay, they don't reveal the contents, but clearly a negative text message that William...
Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors. And what I really thought at the end of it as well was this, which I think is a very, very pertinent point. When they came across for the Queen's funeral, and there was that amazing scene outside the castle of meeting the well-wishers in the walk, there was always talk of reconciliation. Mm-hmm. Charles and William and Kate go one side, Harry and Meghan the other side, smiling and all the rest of it. But at that time...
He slipped. Truth turned wobbly under spotlights, like a stage prop too thin to stand. In court, the cracks grew. Meghan once swore she never fed details to the writers of Finding Freedom. Email leaks showed she did. She offered outlines, suggested tone, even gave talking points. Lawyers called it a simple slip. Bower calls it spin dressed up in royal lace. On the stand, slip-ups cost more than headlines. They carve deep dents in trust. Next came Harry's own book, Spare. It was billed as raw honesty. Between pages, readers found private texts from Kate, tales of brotherly scuffles, and yes, a story about a frozen body part many wish they could forget. Harry asked the world to respect his privacy while tossing family secrets onto shelves. The book sold fast, but every chuckle about that chilly mishap chipped away at the image of a thoughtful prince. The Netflix series rolled out soon after. To prove press pressure, producers dropped clips of flashing lenses chasing stars. Trouble is, some footage showed Katie Price, not Meghan. Another shot came from a red carpet event Harry never attended. It was a bit like showing a shark attack scene from a movie to claim surfers are in danger. If the pictures mislead, what about the words?
All the stuff that we heard today about Charles lying, about William screaming and shouting, was in the can, was being edited. and they duplicitously did not reveal what they were going to do. Now, Harry's got form on that, because he did exactly the same at Prince Philip's funeral when he recorded that whole thing about how his father was responsible for his mental breakdown.
Enter Spotify. Meghan's podcast Archetypes launched with trumpets, famous friends, and a $20 million deal. Inside offices, whispers said segments were stitched by ghostwriters, not her. Streams dipped. A top Spotify leader finally labeled the couple grifters, corporate code for "you sold us glitter and handed over dust." Deals this big rarely end with kind farewells. Even baby names couldn't dodge drama. They called their girl Lilibet, the Queen's private nickname. Meghan said Her Majesty approved. Palace insiders say, nope, only informed. Using the monarch's childhood pet name, some say, felt less like a sweet honor and more like clever branding. Royal magic without royal rules. Patterns appear. Raise an ally, ride the praise, then trash that ally when stories clash. Jason Knauf, their former aide, once backed the pair. When his court statement cut against Meghan's claims, he became just another liar in their new script. Same with press critics, palace staff, and sometimes even family. People who challenge the tale get painted as haters or worse. Meanwhile, public patience runs thin. Event planners see empty seats. Product launches flop. Meghan's teased wine label sparked more memes than sales. Harry's speaking gigs no longer guarantee sold-out halls. Their brand, built on shock and sorrow, now faces a market craving proof, not pity. Tom Bower argues this slip was coming all along. Each fresh grievance made a splash, but splashes settle. When the water clears, viewers spot missing facts. They question reused photos, changing timelines, and deals that crash. Hollywood, once eager, now hesitates. Notice how few big-name friends defended the Netflix series when critics ripped it apart. Even loyalty has limits when scripts unravel.
And he stood in the St. George's Chapel, knowing that he'd done his family down in the Apple broadcast, the armchair broadcast, and didn't reveal it. So he's as duplicitous as Meghan, but it's worse, because she's an actress. She's got no stake in this country. But Harry, a former army officer, betraying the army, his country, his family, his father, dumping on the king, the future king too, and also on his grandmother.
Still, the couple's sharpest weapon remains ambiguity. They rarely name names. Instead, someone said something awful. A senior royal made a rude remark. An unnamed staffer bullied Meghan. Vague villains mean hard-to-check claims. Listeners must pick a side, doubt and risk being called cruel, or believe and join the outrage. Yet more folks now stand in the middle, asking for facts before feelings. Every story needs an end. Where does this one go? Picture an hourglass. The sand of belief runs out grain by grain. Each mixed-up date, each selective clip, each fizzled deal speeds the flow. Without trust, even the brightest spotlight cools. Maybe the Sussexes craft a new chapter, one built on clear proof and calm reflection. Or maybe the curtain falls, leaving echoes of what-ifs. Here's the takeaway. Fairy tales live on when actions match words. Heroes stumble, yes, but they own mistakes and rebuild with truth. If Harry and Meghan still seek a lasting legacy, they need more than glossy documentaries and hush-hush podcasts. They need hard facts, open books, and maybe a simple, "we got some things wrong." Until then, Tom Bower's wrecking ball of receipts keeps swinging, and every swing makes the palace walls they once fled look a little more solid by contrast. So, were they the wounded duo fighting an icy system? Or master storytellers shaping a modern myth for clicks and cash? The answer now lies in plain view, waiting for anyone patient enough to dust off the glitter and read the fine print beneath.
Word traveled like a lightning strike. Prince Harry, yes, the same prince who set the House of Windsor ablaze on daytime television and in Spare, has been sounding out a comeback. Not a humble, full-time return, mind you. He wants a bespoke arrangement that keeps the Montecito lifestyle intact, while pulling on a centuries-old uniform whenever it suits.
I think Diana, well, I know, we all know, Diana would be shocked that we're sitting here today discussing her son as an outright liar.
Royal insiders are calling the idea delusional, but the very fact he's asking has reignited the one drama Britain thought was finally cooling. How did we get here? And why does it feel as though every door Harry bangs on is about to slam shut? Squote. The first clue surfaced in an advanced copy of Tom Bower's upcoming Tell All. According to Bower, Harry has relied on encrypted signal threads and go-betweens to float a trial year inside the palace. No press duties, no permanent residence, maximum flexibility. Harry pitches it as an olive branch. The palace reads it as an ultimatum. Accept a part-time prince or risk looking vindictive if they refuse. Whispers say the messages emerged only after one of Harry's senior aides refused to put the plan in writing, fearing it would leak. Ironically, that fear made the leak inevitable. But why now? Follow the money.
William didn't know that Harry and Meghan had already recorded their poison for Netflix. It was already edited.
And guess what Meghan was all set to do? You know what she's like when the British royals do anything, particularly Kate or William, but King Charles as well.
The Sussex narrative always looked bulletproof on paper. A blockbuster Spotify deal, a 9-figure Netflix contract, a global speaking circuit that paid by the minute. Then, the Spotify partnership cratered. A senior exec publicly labeled the couple grifters, and industry gatekeepers recoiled. Netflix's enthusiasm cooled too. Executives began tying future payouts to metrics. Hours watched, renewals, advertiser demand, numbers the Sussex content no longer guarantees. Meanwhile, that sprawling Montecito estate bleeds cash. Between mortgage, staff, security, and property taxes, insiders peg the yearly burn rate north of $3 million, and that's conservative. Throw in round-the-clock security for 2 toddlers and a schedule of private jet hops for charity galas, and the ledger turns red fast. Financial pressure alone doesn't push Harry back across the Atlantic, but it does prime the pump. As one former royal aide quips, even California sunsets can't pay for 24-hour bodyguards. Pressure points are painful. Family wounds cut deeper. Prince William isn't merely uninterested in reconciliation. He is livid. He considers the half-in, half-out proposal a direct threat to the monarchy's credibility. Courtiers say the Prince of Wales has issued a standing order. No meetings, no softening, no exceptions. Queen Camilla won't entertain it either. After being shredded in Spare as the villain of Diana's tragedy, she is said to have told the king that welcoming Harry home would amount to inviting chaos back inside the gates. Even King Charles, who has cultivated a lifetime of stoic restraint, now shows flashes of icy resolve. A courtier summed it up in 5 words: His Majesty is simply done. Inside the palace, they refer to Harry as the former. Outside the gates, public sentiment is just as frigid. 2 years ago, Britons were split. Today, only a sliver still wants Harry back in harness. Polling last month put his net favorability at -36, his worst score since the first Netflix trailer dropped. Social media finished what television started, birthing hashtags like Royal Reject and No Way Harry that spike every time rumors of his return bubble up. Even die-hard fans admit fatigue. We defended him until it felt like unpaid PR, one viral post sighed. The numbers don't lie. And neither do Hollywood accountants. Netflix once boasted that anything Sussex branded meant automatic global buzz. Not anymore. Their docu-series delivered one slam-dunk quarter, then viewer interest slid. Executives have begun floating divorce clauses that let the streamer capitalize on a Sussex split. Hardly the endorsement you write home about. Studio chiefs quietly fret that whatever Harry shares in confidence today could turn up in a future memoir chapter tomorrow. Talk show ratings back the concern. Appearances that used to spike viewership now settle 40% lower than 2021 peaks. One producer, granted anonymity, put it bluntly: audiences love confession. They hate repetition. When Hollywood flinches, Harry's fallback becomes the one institution he publicly torched. Yet that institution hasn't budged an inch. 4 years ago, Queen Elizabeth declared the hybrid model unworkable. The system hasn't changed since her passing. Royals serve or they don't. They cannot cherry-pick. Courtiers protect that principle like the crown jewels themselves. Their fear isn't petty, it's existential. If a prince can monetize his title only when convenient, what stops every minor royal from turning Buckingham into a revolving sponsorship carousel? So the firm stance remains absolute. No part-time postings, no personal branding during duty, no exceptions. Harry's proposal arrives stamped, return to sender. Yet he keeps pushing, which hints at deeper fractures behind Montecito's gates. Multiple sources claim Harry and Meghan are quietly building separate professional teams. Meghan's focus is lifestyle ventures, cookbooks, design collaborations, a potential streaming series about sustainable luxury. Harry wants legacy projects, veterans charities, documentaries that highlight trauma recovery, even a renewed Invictus push. On paper, the goals overlap. In practice, they strain scarce bandwidth. One insider joked that the Sussexes now share a time block schedule like divorced co-founders, alternating brand summits, individual media coaches, independent PR consultants. When a marriage runs on Google Calendars, something's off. Personal dynamics are private turf, but the optics are telling. If Meghan stays west and Harry looks east, the clock starts ticking louder. The royal diary is drafted years ahead. Commonwealth tours, state visits, charity patronages, each slot is locked by protocol. If Harry truly wants a role, it must be slotted soon or not at all. The next 2 months are critical. Charles's office finalizes the 2026-27 rota by August. Miss that window and any comeback talk shifts to 2028, by which point public sentiment may be irreversible and William's influence absolute. Hollywood timelines aren't kinder. Netflix can terminate the Sussex deal if viewer hours fall under a threshold in the upcoming fiscal year. Spotify's implosion spooked other platforms. New money will demand watertight deliverables. A palace seal of approval could smooth those nerves. Without it, Harry's brand equity keeps bleeding. So we arrive at the cliff edge. A tangled web of secret messages. A multi-million-dollar burn rate. A furious brother, a resolute queen, a disappointed king. Polls in freefall, Hollywood spotlight drifting. A marriage juggling divergent empires. All roads converge on one brutal question. Does the crown owe sanctuary to a prince who once sold its secrets? Or does it safeguard tradition by barring the gates forever? Some comebacks rewrite fairy tales, others expose the cracks beneath. In the weeks ahead, we'll learn which story Harry chooses, and which doors lock behind him for good. So, viewers, where would you place your bet? Is this the moment Prince Harry stages history's boldest comeback? Or a final act of royal exile unfolding in real time? Scroll down, let me know, and buckle up, because the storm isn't over yet.